Hi there, I hope you're having a good day. My name is Chris and I would like to talk about how I budget on a monthly basis. I do contents like this and I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel and give me comments and feedbacks. Now personally, there are two things that I do when it comes to personal financial planning. One is my own personal net worth analysis, which is like a company's balance sheet. So in net worth analysis, I take stock of all my assets and liabilities. Assets are like my cash, property, equities, bonds, endowments, and my liabilities are my debts like mortgage, my house, hire purchase, credit cards. Assets minus liabilities, the net worth. The second thing that I do is budgeting, which is like a company's income and cash flow statement. In budgeting, I take note of all my income and sources of money, and then I apportion them to fixed and variable expenses. So today I would like to talk about how I do my own family budget. In 2019, NUS did a study called Minimum Income Standard, but that only focused on the elderly and single adults from 55 years and above. They released a new report in 2021 focusing on working age households and then updated it this year to account for inflation. I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested to find out more. They have this calculator and it says that I need about 8,000 Singapore dollars a month for a family of 5. That's me, my wife and 3 young kids. Well, let's talk about it.
If you Google for household budgets for families in Singapore, you'll come across this website by the National University of Singapore. And they publish a study with an aim to establish consensual household budgets for families with different age groups of children that will meet the basic standard living in Singapore. And if you click on more information, you'll come to this website published by the researchers. It's called Minimum Income Standard. And you'll find 3 reports here, 2019, 2021, and the latest 2023. So if you go to key findings of 2023, it's a very detailed report. It gives you what's the average considering inflation. So if you can click here if you want full report. But I'm more interested in this online calculator, right? And in this calculator, it will try to break down based on my marital status, number of children, ages 7 to 12, 2 to 6, and see the results. Why can't I see the result? Oh, it's just boy, girl, boy. Click. Click. Why can't it give me the result? So smooth. Alright, so it says here for a household of myself, my wife, and 3 kids, I need close to 8,000 Singapore dollars a month. And the breakdown will be as follows: 21% on food, more or less there, clothing and personal care 6%, transportation 10%, housing 18%, household goods 6%, healthcare, insurance 6%, social participation 10%, education 22%, quite high. Alright, so I tend to agree on the categories used for the budget for family of 5, but my breakdown is not like this, right? So but I do agree that you will need at least 8,000 a month to meet basic standard of living, right? So let me bring your attention to my personal budget. All right, so here you go. So I too have my personal budget, and I've broken them down into various categories, from food and groceries all the way to vacation. And I categorize them as needs or wants, right? In personal budgeting, there is a 50-30-20 rule in which 50% of your salary needs to go into needs, 30% needs to go into your wants, and 20% goes into savings. So that's a general guideline using the 50-30-20 rule. I loosely follow that, and I'll just budget based on what's really required. So needs are things that I cannot live without, that I really need, and wants are things that I can do without, in the event of an unfortunate loss of income. Wants are the first things that would go away, right? So if I look at my budget, food and groceries needs are 1,002. So I've broken them down into groceries. So groceries wise, we do spend about $100 to $150 to buy daily necessities like your vegetables, fruits, meat, bread, and whatnot. So that's around 150 a week. So times 4, that's 600 a month. Weekday lunches. This is the lunch budget for my wife and I when we go out. So we try to stay within a budget of about $7-8 per person. So that's $15 for 2 person per day. And if I multiply that by 5 days of work day in a week times 4, that's $600 a month, right? And I do dine out together the family at times, so that's a 1 because that's quite a luxury. So if I budget around $80 for a family of 5 for one time dine out per week times 4, that's close to $320 $350 a month. And sometimes we do buy snacks, treats, about $100. So that goes into the 1 bucket. So the need wise, 1,002 a month. One category is about 450. So that's where I calculated my budget for fruits and groceries. Transportation, pretty low. Again, we do take public transportation, MRT and bus to go to work. So that's about $5 per day for 2 persons. So that's again 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month. So that's $100. Petrol, I have a car and I spend about $100 full tank per month to ferry kids here and there to school and to enrichment for those weekend dine outs, church and whatnot. Parking about $50, so that's $250 a month. That goes under need. Utilities, well, this is quite high. So what goes into my utilities? So electricity, I subscribe to Sunoco, which charges me around $130 $150 a month. Water bill, about consistently around $80 a month. My internet is 1 gigabits per second, $45. Mobile phone, I recently downgraded my mobile phone to Zim Mobile, so I'm paying $20 for 5G. I'm paying for my wife $10 for 4G. MCSD, that's the private estate I'm staying at, charges me about $355 a month for security, car park, gym, swimming pool and whatnot. So that's $660 a month. Insurance, this is a biggie. I think a lot of people have told me that I'm spending way too much on insurance, but let me just break it down. So in insurance, I spend about $1,000 on myself for coverage of $800,000. For my wife, it's about $500 a month for $500,000 coverage. And I also purchase insurance for my kids. So I've got 3 kids, varying various amount. First 2 kids, it's about the same premium. Last kid, higher premium. I think it's inflation, so premium went up. And for all three of them, is very standard medical and hospitalization and also critical illness. I'll pay this for 15 years, and then it is free for them. So this is my gift for them when they become a young adult. Mortgage, so I spend about $1,004 cash to pay off the house. I do have CPS deduction, me and my wife, but this is the total cash outflow. This is again based on a very low interest rate. Right now I'm paying a fixed 1.2%. That will probably go up to 3+% next year once once the plan changes to variable rate. So I'll talk about that in a separate video where I'm going to refinance this. Income tax. Income tax was something that that the MIS, the minimum income standard, did not cover, and I believe you need to budget for your income tax. So in Singapore, you do your assessment this year for last year's income, and then you start paying them, and Singapore gives you the option to pay them off on a monthly basis. So think of it like an interest-free loan, interest-free repayment. So I still have to pay for the income tax for last year, but on an installment basis from this year onwards for the next 12 months. So always budget for the payment of your tax. I left it blank here because that's very personal, but for your own budgeting, please always account for that. Education and children. So let's see what I have here. Under children, under needs, I have school buses. For my first kid, he's already 10, so I'm sending him to school in the morning, and he's walking home in the afternoon, so that saves a lot. Second kid takes a bus for 216. Third kid, which is only 4 years old, so he takes a school bus 220. Second kid, probably I'll fetch her to school next year. I'll probably train her to take the public transport to come home, so that I can save 216. Extra co-curriculum, they do take some lessons. Swimming for now, that's 420 for all 3 of them. Tuition, I do send them for just the Chinese tuition, that's 420. So I put them under the 1 because in times of emergencies, if I lose my income, it's first one to go. Bus, I probably can't live without for now, but if really push comes to shove, I'll ferry them to school. Back to this, parents, so we do give back some pocket money to my mom and to my wife's parents. Auto maintenance, let's see what goes into my auto maintenance. So I have a car that's already 7 years old. I do set aside some monies. So on a yearly basis, I have to set aside to ensure that I can pay for my road tax, for the insurance, change of tires every 3 years, for an example. So that's 1,500 for 3 years, so 500 a year. Maintenance, that's roughly twice a year, each time around 300 to 400. So I budget around 800. Miscellaneous, 1,000, just in case of major repairs. I budget for this so that I don't have any surprises if I do have to spend this amount. So on a yearly basis, it's about 5,010, and monthly is about 417.50. Home maintenance. Can't really put a budget for this, but I put in at least 200 just in case I need to attend to plumbing issues, electricity issues, electronics. So this is really a one. And if you're like me, where you change phone every 2 years, so that's 2 phones every 2 years. If each phone is about 1,500, that's about 3,000 every 2 years, 1,500 every year, close to 100 a month. Then $150 a month. So this budget is on the low side, and I've not even considered things like tablets, laptops, things like that. So for those, I park under miscellaneous and unforeseen, right? Clothing, personal care, also on the low side. This is really personal grooming. Go for haircuts, occasional t-shirts, shorts, underwear that you need to purchase for family. So that's $100. Again, I think this is on the low side. You easily can budget around $200 a month for this. And I do have a section here for charity or church, about $100. It's on the low side, but this is my budget for now. Subscription, this is also on the high side. Subscriptions, what do I have on my subscription? So I have iTunes, Spotify, Evernote, iCloud. You need a budget. Netflix, Adobe, Google One. So that's on a monthly basis. I put them on the one. Again, if times of emergency, this probably go away. Gifts, all right, gifts. Think about birthday presents, Christmas, Chinese New Year. So $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year, which is, I would say, on the low side too, but yeah. Vacation, $200 a month, so that's $2,400 a year. So this is what I budget on a monthly basis, so that I can, have some short getaways, staycations, nothing too fancy. So that's for a household of 5, 2004 is just enough for a couple of short vacations in Malaysia or Batam or Bintan. So sum it up, $7,000, quite close to the MIS report of 7,009. But if you do consider some of the ones of around 3,000, it's coming close to be about $10,000 a month in Singapore to meet my basic needs. All right, so these are my categories. 10,000 might be a lot to others, might be too little for others. Everybody has their own different sets of standard of living. Well, this is mine. But I do believe in whatever budget that you have, you do need to have a plan. You do need to break it down into categories like mine. Plan for your fixed expenses, plan for unforeseen expenses, so that you know so that it gives you a framework to decide whether you should splurge on something during a sales, like the upcoming 11/11 sales. If I've missed out on any categories, or you think that I should include some of the categories, please let me know in the comments and feedback sections below. Till then, take care and God bless.